I have been playing Illuvium player versus player for a week now, and I wanted to share my first impressions. And as someone who's been waiting for this project for over 2 years now, I really wanted to make sure that this was meeting the vision of the founders and what we heard so long ago. And I'll just be upfront, it is incredible. It is everything I was expecting, and honestly, it has consumed me. I've struggled to do anything else. I've barely slept, eaten, no exercise, and even getting this video done was a struggle because all I want to do is go play. It is so much fun, and I actually have the most playtime out of all the players right now, over 300 matches. I'm both proud and disturbed by that fact, and for anyone who hasn't heard of Illuvium before, they are building a universe of games from various genres that are all interconnected. And the game I'm covering in this video is Illuvium Arena. It's an auto battler where you build your team of Illuvials equipped with augments led by a fearless leader who can be weaponized and has an arsenal of different abilities. You then place them strategically to best optimize your synergy, like fire or frost, which can grant your team additional stats and abilities. And then you also have to consider your opponent's placement trying to counter them. Games like this were made popular by Teamfight Tactics and Dota Underlords, but their boards were very simple and fairly rigid, so whereas Illuvium grants you complete strategic freedom, and if you're someone who played TFT where you were given random cards, this can feel really frustrating not being able to choose your exact team. And again, in Illuvium, you're able to build your own team, and that includes 800 plus Illuvials, upgrades, and weapons, allowing you to innovate and craft a wide variety of teams. And so as the match plays out, you're given mastery points each round, which you can then place units. And once the timer runs out, your two teams will battle it out, and the winner will do damage to the opponent's drone. If you manage to take all of their life, you win. It's really, really engaging, especially with 800 plus units to play with. You can make a wide variety of team comps, ranging from like a super aggro deck, which just goes and slaughters your opponents early. You have 4 rounds. You gotta win those first 4 rounds. If you don't, the other teams could outscale you. You could have these nice control decks, which are focused on taking like 3 or 4 different enemy comps that are really popular, and if you can beat those 4, you can climb the ladder well. Or you have like the super late game deck that if you make it past wave 5, you generally win the game. Like things like this. So much variety in there, and the meta over just this past week has shifted so much. And for players who've already been, in the game quite a bit, it's gone from like Toxic Colossus to this Air Empath, a T-Bow build. There's Water deck in between there. There's an Arc Knight that's growing right now. And literally, it's just constantly shifting. As soon as one deck is climbing the ranks, people are like, okay, how do we counter it? Okay, come up with a new deck. And then everyone goes back to the drawing board. They find a deck. Suddenly one blows up. And it's a cycle. And it is so much fun to be like, going through. I know I will literally stop playing, be like, oh my god, it's 2 a.m, I need to go to sleep, and I'll get in bed and I literally just can't stop thinking about, oh, you know what, I bet you if I put this unit in, you can swap a single card and it can make a huge difference, especially with these augments, the upgrades for the Illuvials. It makes a huge difference on being able to just totally counter a team. Some of these augments, literally, it takes one augment, one unit, you can totally stop an enemy team's strategy. And so, figuring out how to put those teams together is probably one of my favorite parts. And then we talk more about strategy, specifically on placement. In Teamfight Tactics, you have a lot of strategy to position all over the place. And if you don't know, I was Masters. That's how high I got in TFT. So not super good, but definitely good experience. And this game brings it to a whole new level. Like you have all these hexes, and literally one hex can make a huge difference if like this unit's got an AoE effect that's cleaving behind you in your pack, so you need to shift just a little bit left to save them. It is so satisfying to just totally stop an enemy comp by just pushing one unit a little different. And it's those small nuances that separate like new beginner players that are learning the game compared to like players who put in the hours. And it is really cool to see how the good players can play. And moving on to graphics, Illuvium literally stomps on the competition, and I'm talking all competition. No auto battler game has any graphic fidelity that's comparable. You can move your camera around and get these amazing close-ups on these Illuvials that are incredibly detailed. The audio effects, similarly, like you can just hear the game really, really good. I I feel totally immersed when I'm in here. When I sit down my team, I'm like, this is my army. We're going to battle. It feels so epic to just see them charge, and especially like when I have a cool comp like an Mephisto. This is Squid Guy that brings down lightning, and it just boom, it hits, or the ram fire. The iconic image of Illuvium, the fire bird bringing down a wave of heat is so cool. The visual effects from like magma of the ground just slowly expanding and burning all of the enemies. The inferno, like there's so many epic visual effects. Like whoever the VFX artists are on this team, they need a raise. They've done an incredible job. And this game is just exciting. Like you are playing it and you think you have a perfect position, but then they reveal the enemy board. And then you're like, oh no, something just went terribly wrong. They did this massive change I wasn't expecting. And then there's a ram fire on your back line, and he's auto-attacking. If he casts, your whole pack is going to be deleted. So you're just on the edge of your seat like, please don't kill me, please. And then you hit it, you kill it right as it's jumping up, and you save the day. And it is just so satisfying. You're like, yes, I won. It's over. GG. And then you can, every once in a while, you're going to find the founders, which is really cool. They're playing. All the team members are in this. They're also, I'm pretty sure, addicted to their own game, which is just a great sign that they have built something and they still love playing it even after working on it consistently. Here's a video of me taking on Grant Warwick, one of the co-founders. It was super satisfying just taking him down. But no, it is truly a fun game, and the community is amazing. If you haven't jumped into the Discord, I would strongly suggest getting in there. They've got people pretty much streaming and just in the voice channel 24/7. Like there's always someone there. And then if not, you join the guilds. There's a lot there. I personally am affiliated with Hype. It's a great place for competitive play, but feel free to check out all the other guilds. There's a lot of really cool community that'll help you get started. They'll pass around decks, or teams, I should say, sorry. And it's really just an awesome place to get started. Now, there were some cons. I'm going to start off with some bugs and glitches. They weren't too significant, and they're going to be resolved fairly fast, from what I understand. In fact, they might even be done by the time you're watching this video. But one major bug is this one where you start a mastery, or start a round, and you have way too many mastery points. You throw it on a whole bunch of augments, new alluvials, and then it takes off everything. So that one sucks. You just have to make sure you don't go over what you're supposed to get for that round, and you'll be good to go. The other thing is around some of the weapons and augments. They're just a little bit overpowered. Hey, that happens. This is a brand new beta. Those will be chunked down and balanced quite well. There was a couple broken things, which is like the Satipo army. If you've seen it, there's a whole bunch of Atipos, really, really cheap units. They can just survive so much further than they should be able to. So I think there was a stacking issue, which they're gonna resolve very quick. And then, my other major con is just the strategic scope. I think that this will impact a lot of people who are just getting started, who are brand new to the game, don't know the auto battler genre well, or card and deck team building. Being able to set up a really solid comp, that could be a little bit difficult. There's a lot to go into it. The team builder website is very in depth. There is so much to do, so many filters to scroll through, and really setting that up can be quite difficult. So those are the major cons I could see. Other than that, the game feels great. And if you're someone who's looking for a game to just sink 100+ hours into, I strongly suggest going to the Epic Games Store, give it a try. And hey, if you need help, like this video, subscribe for more, and I'll see you next time.